deposits, my gloss is popping. You like my hair? Gee, thanks, just bought it. I see it, I like it, I want it.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be doing my second trimester update. If you have not seen my first trimester update and the whole long story about how I found out I was pregnant, go ahead and watch that video right now. So pause this one, go and watch that one, and then you can come back to this one. Basically, I'm just going to, I have my paper, so if you see me looking down, I'm just going to basically go through all the different symptoms and different things that I experienced for my second trimester of pregnancy. It's too hot. It is too hot. Just for reference, this is my first pregnancy, so some of these things were really shocking to me, as in I really didn't expect them, and some of the things are things that I've heard people talk about or I saw from other YouTubers doing pregnancy updates and that kind of thing, but these are just my experiences and what I went through. The first thing would be my mood. I know most people get really moody when going through pregnancy. That was not the case with me. I was very happy. I would even say more happy than usual. At work, I would always be smiling and laughing and making jokes. And I remember like my coworkers would tell me like, you're gonna have a very happy baby because you're always so happy. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. But I didn't experience any type of moodiness whatsoever. It was pretty chill, really happy, just vibes, pure vibes. The second thing is I started to feel the baby kick. I didn't knew what it was when it happened. It was, I don't know, I think I was at work, so I didn't really have much of a emotional reaction to it or whatever, but I knew what it was and I was like, oh, hi. Another thing I experienced was crazy dreams. Now this is something that no one told me about. I never heard about it. It was really shocking to me. Apparently when you're pregnant, you get really crazy vivid dreams, and when I say vivid, like vivid dreams. So I'm not a person who normally dreams at all. I legit thought I was watching a movie. That's how surreal it felt. The dreams were just extremely vivid, extremely descriptive, and it would just be the most random stuff. And the most amazing part about it is that when you wake up, you remember every single detail. Like, every single detail of that dream. Let me just Google this and see if this is normal. And apparently it is. And this is something that no one's ever told me about. This is something I've never heard people talk about going through while pregnant. So this was one of those shocking things that I went through. Okay, so cravings. Even up to this day in my third trimester, I still don't feel like I had cravings. Like I wasn't eating anything out of the norm that I don't usually eat. So I don't know if I would call this a craving, but I was eating a lot of spicy foods, which some people say is really not good for you. But I never experienced heartburn, so eating spicy foods it never bothered me at all. And I grew up eating a lot of spicy food, so I don't know if this is necessarily a craving because I just always like spicy food. But I particularly loved spicy Cheetos and making ramens with a lot of pepper sauce during my second trimester. So like almost every night for dinner I would make a bowl of ramen noodles, and I would just pile in a lot of pepper sauce to the point like my eyes and my nose would be watering while I eating the ramens. And to me that's normal for me because like I said, I really like spicy foods. I always cook with pepper and pepper sauce, so this wasn't nothing out of the norm for me. But I do think I overdid it in my second trimester, so I guess I would count that as a craving. Another weird thing that I experienced that I didn't really know, well, I've heard about it, but I didn't know it was true. I thought it was like one of those pregnancy myths that people always talk about, but my feet grew. I remember one day I went to the shoe store in town and I was planning on buying a pair of flats to wear to work, and normally I wear a size 9.5 or 10. I have big feet, but normally I'm a 9.5 or a 10. So I went and I gave the lady the shoe and I was like, I would like a 10. She brought back the 10 and the 10 was fitting me like a 7, and I'm like, what? So that was something weird that I experienced that I didn't know it was true. I thought the most that happens is like your feet swell, which mine didn't in my second trimester, but they grew, and now I'm like Bigfoot. It's weird. They don't tell you these things. They really don't tell you these things. This is so funny, but the first thing I definitely experienced was having a sore bum. Now let me explain. I work in a bank, and so I do a lot of sitting at a desk, at a computer. And every single time I sat down or got up from sitting down, my bum would be on fire. Like, it wasn't even funny. It was extremely painful. And it's like I found myself just always wanting to stand, just because I know sitting and getting up from sitting was extremely painful. So during my second trimester, one major pregnancy symptom I had was fatigue. Like, sis, the fatigue was real. Like, I was so exhausted 24/7. And normally they say during your second trimester you get a boost of energy. Now, may know who they're trying to fool, may know what kind of boost of energy they're talking about, but my batteries was run down, sis. Like, I had no energy to do nothing. I was always tired, always sleepy. I just didn't want to do nothing at all. Like, it was terrible. The fatigue was real. It was real. Now, this might be TMI for some people. One of the worst experiences I have had to go through during my entire pregnancy was two really bad things. I went through them at the same time, but I'm gonna go through them one by one, just to let you know the tea, to let you know what really going on, what they don't tell you about, because nobody tells me about this. Okay, so the first one is during my second trimester, I got a yeast infection. Words cannot explain the experience I went through with this. No, it's actually something very common, which I knew it was a common thing. I just never got one. I've never had one so far up until this point, but it's really common, and it's even more common to get one when you're pregnant. So let me give you the little story time. I was home one day and I started getting this I wouldn't say pain, it was just like extremely uncomfortable feeling, And I remember I messaged my friend, my good friend, big up to you. I messaged my friend and I was like, so my vagina feel weird. And And so I was like explaining to them like how it felt and everything, and it was like, I think you have a yeast infection. I was like, what? Like, for real? So I did some Googling, did some searching, did some reading, did some research, and they were like, yeah, it's common to get during pregnancy. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, nobody told me about this. I wasn't prepared for this. Mostly just uncomfortable, like extremely uncomfortable, like to walk, to sit down, to lie down, everything was just itching. it wasn't fun. It just was not fun at all. I went to my doctor about it and she was just all cool and mellow about it. She was like, oh, okay. And then she just write me up a prescription like it was nothing. I'm like, you sure everything okay? Because it doesn't feel like everything's okay. But like I said, it's extremely common for women to go through, especially pregnant women. So she wrote me up a prescription for a cream and these pills. These pills, you have to, yeah, it just wasn't fun. It just wasn't fun. And took those for a couple of days, and then it cleared up and everything went back to normal, and I was like, thank you Jesus, because it just was not fun. It was the worst ever. It was, if you've been through one, you know what I'm talking about, but this, no thank you. Okay, so the last thing I have on my list, and another major thing for me that again nobody told me about was round ligament pains. What happens is during pregnancy, your joints and your ligaments, they get loose, like they stretch, so like they get loose, and so your round ligaments get loose. Now what happens when your round ligaments get loose, nobody tells you about and nobody warns you about. Basically what it is a really sharp, excruciating pain that you get like in your pelvic area. It was mostly painful lying down, like in bed. So like any sudden movement, well, not even sudden movement, any movement at all would trigger it. And it's like, imagine somebody got a string to your pelvic, and every time you move they just juke it like real hard, like that's how we feel. So in bed, lying down, to turn from one side to the other would take me like 5 minutes, no joke. Take me about 5 minutes to turn from one side to the other in bed. There were some points I would literally scream. Water would come out my eye, just how painful it was. That basically wraps up my second trimester. It's not much. I keep saying this and I keep knocking on wood, keep thanking Jesus. I've had a pretty amazing pregnancy thus far, in my opinion. There's a lot of other things that I've seen people talk about that they went through that, thank God I didn't. Like I said, the two major things that I experienced was the round ligament pains and the yeast infection. Everything else was just meh. But yeah, it's nothing to make me tell somebody, oh, don't get pregnant, because at the end of the day, we're all different. All our bodies are different. So what I experienced, somebody else may not experience, and vice versa. What someone else experienced, I may not experience. Thank you guys for watching another one of my videos. It means so much to me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe right now. Leave a comment down below, leave in video suggestions, or just say hi, and I'll say hi back. I promise I'll say hi. Like this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys in another one.